Ladies and gentlemen, this is our chief supporting contest of the evening. A contest of 12 3-minute rounds to decide the vacant World Boxing Union Continental Light-Middleweight Championship of the world. Your officials for this contest appointed by the World Boxing Union is President at ringside, Mr. John Robinson. Your supervisor in charge is Mr. Dave Stone of Surrey. The steward in charge is Mr. Charles Giles. Your judges scoring on a 20-point must system is Eugene Grant of the United States, Reg Thompson from England, and Des Bloyd of Australia. Your timekeeper on the bat is Roger Bowden, and the referee in charge of the action is Dave Paris of England. And now introducing firstly in the red corner, he's wearing the red trunks trimmed with white. He brings to the ring a professional record from 25 contests. He has 14 wins with 6 losses and 5 draws. He weighed in at 10 stone, 11 pounds, and comes from Cala in South Africa. But he brings to a nice warm welcome to Elvis Adonisi.
Adonisi getting a good reception from the fans here in Bristol.
And wearing the colours of the Bristol boys. As professional, his record reads, he has 16 wins, coming from 24 contests, with 5 losses and 3 draws. He weighed in at 10 stone and 13 pounds. From Bristol, the one and only Darren Dorrington.
So Dorrington from Chris Sanagar's gym.
Instructions for both boxers.
And some final words for both boxers from Dave Paris, who refereed the previous contest, but he won't have too much of an easier night than the one he just refereed. So, there we go, there's the tail of the tape.
3-minute rounds for the vacant WBU Continental Light-Middleweight Championship.
We're almost ready to get underway then. Darren Dorrington against Elvis Adonisi, the Bristolian against the man from South Africa.
Tricky fight this for Dorrington. This guy is one of the most fleet-footed South Africans, and a lot of them are slick. This could be a real long fight, and I tell you, it's an even money fight.
Scheduled for 12 rounds. Dorrington in the purple shorts. Dorrington holding the centre of the ring, trying to make Adonisi do all the work. Good lefts from Adonisi.
In the last 2 or 3 years, an awful lot of quality, slick South African boxers have come over here, and Adonisi's already been here, and just a good, well-schooled professional.
He's got a good left jab by the look of it as well. It's already scored several points for him. Three judges judging this contest. The WBU Continental title, basically a junior title for those boxers normally classified outside the top 10 in the rankings of each of the organising unions.
Dorrington's picked up a fairly nasty mark under his right eye there for so early in the fight against a guy who's a non-banger. He hasn't stopped anybody.
Yes, a bit of a bulge there, but it's that left jab that's been doing the damage. And Adonisi will work off that left foot. And he has got quite a long reach, and he's finding the target again and again. So Dorrington will have to beware from that point of view, but it's good work by Adonisi. Good work from the South African. Dorrington fighting back. Good start to this scheduled 12-rounder. ...15 seconds left. Coming to the end then of round one. So the end of round one, there's Darren Dorrington. Big support here. He's sold over 500 tickets himself in this 2,000-seater arena, but he's certainly got plenty to think about, Steve Bunce.
He has indeed, because he's not fighting the type of guy that generally beats him, and that's the bruisers who have stood in front of him and thrilled this crowd. That's why they keep coming back for him. He's fighting a guy who's not in front of him, a really slick professional.
Has some of the action from that first round.
See, look at Elvis. He's leaning away from any counters. He's not missing with anything. Oh, he's slotting in all sorts of shots there. That's classy stuff.
That was a lovely little short left in that exchange. There's Elvis Adonisi.
4-10-7.
Well, Adonisi taking absolutely every millisecond to take a rest at the end of that first round and before the second.
Dorrington's right eye, both above and below, is starting to show as bright a red as Adonisi's shorts. Doesn't look very good at all.
Yes, his eye looking a little bit bloodshot as well, isn't it?
That could have been a thumb. I mean, when you have an injury that's that dark, that quick, against a guy who's a non-banger, that could have easily been a thumb, the thumb from that left jab.
Well, Adonisi, the South African, had 25 contests. He's won 14, hasn't stopped any of his opponents, lost 6 and drawn 5. It doesn't look a great record. But now Dorrington trying to up the tempo.
Darren has to stop moving off to his left and move off to his right, because he's walking onto rights from Elvis, and he's not positioning Elvis for any of his own rights. And he's being picked apart here at long distance.
That was a good right by Elvis. Elvis Adonisi in the red shorts. Second round of a scheduled 12-rounder. Oh, big overarm right, which Darren Dorrington didn't see coming.
Elvis knew he would be there.
Again, that straight left, but Dorrington trying to get to work now. Dorrington's coming in, but he's not landing the quick combinations which are going to upset Adonisi just at the moment. Adonisi caught in the corner a little bit. I don't think he's under any real trouble. A couple of those punches, the lefts, were slaps with the side of the glove. That was a good right, though, by Dorrington. But better from Dorrington at the end of the round. At least he didn't let Elvis Adonisi dominate and dictate the pace of it.
That was the final 30 seconds that Darren Dorrington needed.
So there's Elvis Adonisi. His record doesn't look great, but he's like so many of these boxers that box in South Africa and around the world, very useful.
There was a guy about... Let's see some of this. Oh, that was a wide left hook, and it worked perfectly. But he covers up and he moves so well after being caught. And in fact, Darren missed, I think, with 7 or 8 punches there as a follow-up. And I think to hurt this guy, who doesn't get stopped either. You've got to catch him early and you've got to start hurting him.
Quarters, 10 seconds. Seconds out, round 3.
Well, Adonisi certainly likes to sit on his stool for as long as possible. Darren Dorrington was out in the centre of the ring a good 10 seconds before Adonisi decided to lift himself off and get involved in the action in this third round. Good right from Adonisi.
Look at the way Elvis is boxing, Adonisi's boxing here. It's hard to imagine that he hasn't stopped anybody in 25 fights. He's landing what look like super shots from big distance. He's hurting Dorrington. I'm not saying he's wobbling him, but he's hurting him. And yet he's never stopped anybody. I find that hard to believe.
Dorrington changing style in this round because he's dropped his left glove significantly, leaning forward, trying to get in a little bit more in range of Elvis Adonis. In the previous round, his gloves were right up like they are now. And I don't think Dorrington can afford to lower his gloves too much against Elvis Adonisi.
Of course, there's another factor that could be involved here. Dorrington's been a middleweight and a big middleweight all his career. In fact, he lost to Joe Calzaghe in the ABA final at middleweight in 1993. And suddenly he's dropped down considerably, 7, 8, 9 pounds from where he normally fights at. You know, he might be tired in the later rounds.
Very warm in the ring here. It's a warm evening in Bristol, and of course the lights adding to the heat which the boxers are performing under. Dorrington well covered up. 30 seconds left in round 3. Adonisi just quicker to the punches in this exchange. So the end of round 3, and Darren Dorrington still with plenty to think about, but the good news from his point of view is the eye doesn't seem to be getting too much worse, Steve Butts.
Yeah, Sanagan knows his way around the, a boy's eyelids. His eyelids used to cut when he was a pro, and he gets a lot of experience with his boys. They often get cut, and he's done a good job there. He's taken the swelling out of that eye, which looked a bit fierce earlier in the second round. It looked particularly fierce. Oh, that was that first right hand. I mean, there's no way Darren should have been standing for that. Not this early in a fight against a guy that isn't a counter-puncher. This guy's a boxer. In fact, Adonisi's starting to look like a man who fancies the job. Now, for a boxer and a mover, a man who doesn't stop people, that's very strange.
Seconds out, round 4.
And again, it's Dorrington waiting in the centre of the ring for Adonisi. Dorrington's record, 24 contests. He's won 16, 10 of them inside the distance. Lost 5 and drawn 3. Dorrington in the purple shorts. From Bristol, England, Elvis Adonisi from Kala in South Africa. Good work at close range by Adonisi, working away to the body.
The way Adonisi's teeing up Dorrington, you'd imagine Adonisi was a banger. You'd actually doubt your statistics on this fight, because he's setting him up like a big puncher.
And he's catching him with big rights as well, and there's a big cut coming from Dorrington's forehead. I think it's in the middle of his two eyes, just above his nose. But certainly Dorrington being forced forward now by his supporters in here, and there is blood all over the place. It's not too severe, it probably looks worse than it is. But if that blood starts getting into his eye, then there might be problems. But it's a big cut on his forehead, just above his nose.
I think that was from that wild overhand right.
Dorrington coming forward, but his punch is lacking just that little bit of snap that Adonisi is producing. This, don't forget, for the vacant World Boxing Union Continental title. Light middleweight, scheduled for 12 rounds. There's that big overarm right again from Adonisi, catching Dorrington. Dorrington trying to work with the uppercut, but getting caught with the left and the right. Dorrington pushing forward, trying to alter the pattern of the contest, but Adonisi comes back again. So there we are, there is the cut. As you can see, it's a vertical cut. It's not affecting his eye from the point of view that it's not directly above his eye, but there will be blood spraying around the place, Steve Bunce.
Yeah, it will be annoying him. I don't think it'll be affecting his vision, but it will be in his eyes. He's already brushed it 2 or 3 times, and that's distracting a fighter, especially when you're losing, especially when you're up against it, and especially when you're getting caught with the type of punches that Adonisi's throwing.
So let's see if we can see the punch or whatever that's opened up that cut. It was in fact a head, Steve.
No, he's not bleeding yet. I think it was head and shoulder. That was quite an ugly little clash there.
Purely accidental, I think. I don't think there was anything deliberate about it at all.
I agree. That was without a doubt an accidental head clash.
So the 5th round. What a good contest this is turning out to be. Darren Dorrington in the purple shorts from the Chris Sanagar stable in Bristol.
Nearly 10 years Dorrington's been the backbone of Sanagar's stable here. He epitomises everything that the Bristol boys stand for. Guys who are possibly just outside of world class, but fight their hearts and their guts out in front of their friends and families. Terrific, terrific stable Chris has built.
And the blood already flowing early in this 5th round. Again, that right is a punch which is a good one as far as Adonisi is concerned. From the point of view it's getting through, but Dorrington doesn't seem to have any answer to it, and certainly he needs to keep that left glove up higher, doesn't he, if he's going to stop taking a lot of punishment to that side.
And just to make sure, every time Adonisi lands the right, he's landing 2 or 3 jabs first, he's clearing away, and then the right's coming over, and Darren's standing for it half a dozen times in each and every round.
head from Adonisi going in. I'm not saying it's deliberate. That was a good left from Adonisi, and then another good left from the South African, and again. But clearly that head is causing a fair bit of damage to Dorrington. Fans getting right behind him here. Great atmosphere in the Whitchurch Leisure Centre just outside Bristol. Again, the heads clashing. Good right from Adonisi. So the end of round 5, and the South African Elvis Adonisi and his corner will be very pleased indeed with what they've seen and done so far.
Adonisi is as cool and relaxed in that corner as he was when he stepped into the ring 5 completed rounds ago. He's barely sweating. He's totally in control of a fight which looks very much like Senegal's boy Dorrington will lose.
There's some action from that 5th round. Again, you saw the head coming in, not deliberate, but doing some damage. Good sharp little left again, Steve, wasn't it?
He's moving away from his shots, from Dorrington's shots. He's landing neat shots of his own. Plus, he's not leaving anything exposed. And Dorrington's a pressure fighter, not a big one-punch finisher. It's an uphill struggle, it really is.
So the 6th round, off we go. Oh, good lefts, pushing the head back of the Englishman. The fans trying to lift Dorrington. Oh, another good right. And he's wide open to that punch. And there's another one, another big right. In fairness to Dorrington, he's taken the punches well, but it only needs one to really land on the target, and he could be in big trouble, Darren Dorrington. Well, not too many of those punches landing, though the crowd got quite excited. Elvis stays cool.
Dave Paris, the referee, is a very compassionate referee. He's a former heavyweight, and if this were to go 4 or 5 more rounds and there's more blood, and as soon as Dorrington wobbles, I could see him intervening here, because they're fairly one-sided rounds. I mean, we all like a good fight, but there is certain times when timely intervention is better than a continuation.
Oh, lovely right again, straight through the guard that time of Dorrington by Adonisi. There's a good uppercut from Dorrington. Oh. Good left from the South African. Just out of range there. Adonisi. Well, the fans doing everything here as we look at that shot from overhead. The fans doing everything to try to lift their local hero. Better from Dorrington, but Adonisi still having the last say in that exchange. So the end of round 6. What did you make of that, Steve Bunce?
There's lots of blood. He's a very brave fighter, Darren Dorrington, but when he has lost, it's been in hopeless causes, and you get the same feeling tonight. But he's a kid, and that's a corner over there, the Sanagar corner. They will never quit. That is not a quitter's corner. But I would like to see him go either desperately for a couple of rounds, see if it works, because he's not going to win on points. He's not going to outbox this guy. As you can see, he's getting picked off with long shots. He's getting hustled inside. He's getting caught with short shots from the inside. The only chance he has is to try and use the power he has as a former middleweight and try and jump as much as he can on Elvis and hope that works. If not, I can just see another 6 or 7 rounds of fairly painful, one-sided and one-way boxing ground.
Seconds out, round 7.
So the 7th round, Dave Parrish just making sure that the seconds are out of the ring and the stool is as well. Dorrington, 30 years of age. Adonisi, 25 in 3 days' time, although he looks as though he's had a fairly longish amateur career, Adonisi, doesn't he? He's puffed up a little bit round his eyebrows, not from this fight necessarily, but from previous confrontations.
I know, talking to Rodney Berman, part of the Golden Fist promotional team, you know, he's been telling me for the last 10 years that the hardest gyms in the world are the gyms in South Africa. They are full of fighters who are desperate to prove themselves.
Now Dorrington working away, not too many punches getting through. Adonisi's guard was pretty good there. And again, Adonisi working to the body and to the head again.
Dorrington's now picked up a nasty cut over his left eye. Underneath the brow but above the eye.
Yes, again, it's not in an absolutely critical position, but if he gets any worse, or if he gets another cut somewhere else, then the referee might just decide here that it's a lost cause for Dorrington. Blood splattered all over his face.
Looks like one of those photographs of Henry Cooper after one of his many fights, doesn't it? Blood everywhere, still grimly determined.
Dorrington working away inside. Adonisi moving his head, avoiding some of the punches, but not all of them from Dorrington. Good left from Adonisi. Ooh, and a big right, which very nearly connected there. It was a whisker away. Again a right, but no great power behind that one from Adonisi. Good work. Oh, and again the heads clashing, and Dorrington's head going back there.
He's now cut under his left eye. That was from that clash, without a doubt. But it was an accidental crash.
And he's got cuts all over the place. It is not a pretty sight. That was better from Dorrington. The corner waving him in. A sign, I think, that they may feel that he's not got too long to go at this rate if he keeps cutting up like this. Again, the heads clashing. Good left from Dorrington. But Adonisi coming back. Good left from him as well. So the end of round 7. And there we are again in the Dorrington corner. And it's getting worse and worse for the local boy, Steve Bunce.
Yes, there's a lot of work taking place in that corner, a lot of work taking place. There needs to be a lot of work taking place, but the most important pair of eyes in that corner belong to Dave Parrish. He's had a long, cold look, and I can't see it going any more than one more round. In fact, I expect Parrish to go over and tell them something.
And Parrish, there he is. The referee is just going over there to have a look at the cuts, have a word with the corner. He's got the right to call the doctor in if he wants to, and the doctor can advise the referee if he wants to bring him in. At the moment, Parrish is very, very experienced indeed, just having a look himself. And in his own mind, Do you think he's saying, well, I might let this go for another round and see how it goes?
I've seen that look on Dave's face before. You know, he knows when to stop a fight. Don't worry about that.
Round 8. Dave Parris had a long look at the Bristol boy when he came out of the corner. A long, long look. Well, I don't think this is going to go to the judges. There's another big right. If it does, it's scored on a maximum 20 points per round system, and the judges can give the loser of a round as few as 16 points. That's the ruling under the WBU. Big one from Adonisi, but strangely for a moment, losing his balance altogether. Oh, a big right again. It wasn't a tremendously good punch. It was round the back of Dorrington's head almost, but Dorrington taking punishment consistently here.
And not landing any punches, trying, non-stop trying. Such a gutsy performance, a typical Dorrington performance.
That's better from Dorrington. Good uppercut. Trying to tee up a big punch, but took one himself in so doing. Oh, that's a big right. A big right from Adonisi. Dorrington rocked in his own corner. He's in trouble. Adonisi's trying to apply the finishing touch here. The finishing punch. Another big one, and you feel that he might go, Dorrington, but he's fighting back. He's got a heart as big as a dustbin lid. The boy from Bristol, he really has. One minute left. Round 8. The WBU Continental title. Big right again and a great left from the South African, who's got Dorrington trapped on the ropes in his own corner. Dorrington taking big punches here. The referee having a close look at this. But Dorrington fighting back again. His corner calling Dorrington on. The crowd love the heart of this boy. But how much more of this can he take? Again, a straight left and blood coming from Dorrington's nose. The corner calling him on. Oh, Adonisi must just be wondering what on earth he's got to do to stop this man.
Fantastic left hook on the bell there.
Well, there's the corner over there. It's X-rated in that corner, Steve Bunce.
It really is. You know how serious that corner is because they're not using adrenaline swabs. They're using towels to clear the blood.
You can see the cuts clearly there. He's got 2 cuts between his eyebrows on his forehead. He's got a cut under his left eye, and he's got a cut on his eyebrow, a bad one as well, on his right eye, where they're applying that...
It looks grim in that corner. Dave Parris got his hand on Sanagar's back. Oh.
There was that big right.
He's out hustling him and he's out punching him, but Dorrington is still there.
The referee just checking the gloves of Darren Dorrington there. And Chris Sanagar screaming instructions to him as he comes out for this round. Possibly, Steve Bunce, listen, I'm going to let you go this round, but unless you've improved, well, I'm not letting you take much more.
Well, you saw that yourself there. Dorrington was not reluctant to walk out. He seemed unable to leave his corner. He was hovering there on stilted legs. He looks absolutely exhausted.
A little bit of respite for both boxers. But Dorrington does look very, very tired indeed. He does look most definitely more tired than Elvis Adonisi. And don't forget, Adonisi has come into this fight at fairly late notice, replacing Eric Dupont. And again, Adonisi working away, good left. The referee really taking a long, hard look at Dorrington, as again, Adonisi goes to work. The referee, you can just see him in the background there, hovering, taking that long, hard look into the face of Darren Dorrington. And clearly, if Adonisi can mount a serious assault here, I think the referee's going to step in, Steve Bunce.
Yeah, I think so too. That's the way Dave Paris referee operates. But in the context of this fight, it'd be perfectly in reason to step in. That's a grim face full of cuts, plus Dorrington is down. Okay, he might keep trying, and there's 500 fans here, but Terry Downs once said, you pay £6, you don't expect me to die for you.
£6 was quite a few years ago, by the way. I think you couldn't get in here for much less than £20 at the Whitchurch Leisure Centre. Dorrington then in the purple trunks against Adonisi. He just rocked Adonisi, I think, with a left there.
Well, Dorrington's jaws draping open, his face is a mess.
Big right there.
He's hurt.
He's not got much left. This might be his final assault. Can he finish it here against Adonisi? The referee is hovering. There he is, Dave Paris. He knows just how much these assaults from the South African have taken out of Dorrington. So there we are, the end of the round. So the end of round 9, and again there's more work going on from Chris Sanagar in that corner.
The first thing Sanagar did when he jumped through the ropes was look over at Dave Paris, as though they had some kind of agreement from the previous break 3 minutes earlier. In fact, Paris is walking over now.
There's the referee, you can see, just having a look at the situation again, having a look at those cuts. Having a word with Chris Sanagar.
The cuts are a perfect subterfuge, a perfect reason for stopping the fight, when in reality it's the fact that Dorrington is trailing so much and being caught so much.
So the 10th round, scheduled for 12. If Dorrington goes all the way, it'll be a magnificent feat. But I'm not so sure, from his own point of view, it would be the right thing to do. I'm not suggesting for one moment that he'll pull himself out. But the referee will certainly have his overall health as a prime consideration. Just a little bit of string coming from Dorrington's glove as well, his left glove. Dorrington had only dropped down to light middleweight last year, hoping he might get a British title fight. But I have to say that he's taken a lot of punishment in this one.
In fact, had he not agreed to take this fight, it's possible he would have got a British title fight, because the British light middleweight champion is about to be stripped because he faces police charges on a drugs offence.
Good right again from Adonisi. Dorrington tries to turn the South African into the corner, but there aren't enough punches coming to suggest, and the referee is stopping matters just to get that glove taped up properly. It's a bit of string coming adrift on it.
Darren's still trying to win this fight. He took a moment there when Elvis miscued a shot in the corner, and he pounced on him. I mean, with all of those cuts, with the amount of beating he's taken, he's still trying to win this fight.
Well, it's one of these contests you simply can't take your eyes off, isn't it?
It's a typical no-nonsense fight between two boxers, both of whom refuse to take a step back. It's made all the more exciting because obviously Adonisi, despite the fact he's dominating, clearly isn't a serious puncher. So it's making the fight last longer.
Yes, he's been on a pretty good run though, the South African. He's lost just once since 1996. That's in 13 contests. That was against Anthony van Niekerk last year. And here comes Dorrington trying to pull victory out of the jaws of defeat here. And it looks just for a moment as though Adonisi might be in trouble. He landed a big right there to get back in. But Adonisi showing signs of tiredness now. What an effort from Dorrington. Another big right. Oh, that was an excellent round from Darren Dorrington's point of view. He came back fantastically. The cuts held up pretty well.
There was a clear moment there when Adonisi was hurt over there and stumbled from 2 or 3 shots. But Dorrington was so tired himself, he couldn't get his feet to go forward. They were going backwards. I mean, this is real heroic stuff, isn't it?
It is, and you can hear what the fans inside the stadium think. Here's the action.
Look at this. He's been on the receiving end for the best part of 10 rounds. He seizes his moment late in the 10th and chases the South African back and has the South African teetering.
And Elvis Adonisi having a bottle poured all over him just to provide that extra little bit of refreshment to try and freshen up body and mind. So 6 minutes of action to go in this WBU Continental title fight for the vacant title at light middleweight. Darren Dorrington from Bristol in England in the purple shorts. Elvis Adonisi from Kala in South Africa.
Adonisi just one of quite a few good South African base light middleweights. Harry Simon, the Namibian, who's the WBO champions based there, and of course there's Mapus Makambi, former Commonwealth champion.
And Dorrington goes down, more of a push than anything else. Referee just wiping both boxers' gloves, make sure there's no dust on them which might get in a cut or in somebody's eye. Good work by Adonisi in Dorrington's corner, but Dorrington fighting back. Wonderful effort. He's summoning every ounce of strength that he's got left, and that isn't much. Both these men tired. Rodney Berman over on the far side of the ring. You can see him there in the blue shirt just behind Adonisi. Will be pleased with what he's seeing from the point of view of the South African boxer. Still Dorrington hangs in, still somehow he manages to summon the strength to score. Still working Dorrington. Still working. Forcing Adonisi backwards. Well, this is a fight that will have taken so much out of both of these boxers. It really will. Adonisi looking really tired now.
What a contrast in an evening's championship boxing, eh? 37 seconds and a two-punch finish in one fight. And you couldn't even begin to calculate the punches here, could you?
I wouldn't mind a few bob for all of them, I have to say. Blood pouring now from that cut under Dorrington's left eye. So the end of the 11th round. And Dorrington saying to his corner, I'm okay, I'm okay.
There's a new cut there, in fact. Right at the end of that round, there's a new cut there. And I think Sanagar is saying to him, look, I can't work on this, it's too much. Now that's a hard decision for someone like Sanagar to make, and an even harder decision for someone like Dorrington to hear. He's trying to push him away.
You can see the argument going on in the corner. Chris Sanagar is saying, listen, this cut is too bad. And Darren Dorrington is saying, let me go on. And Sanagar is saying to the referee, he can't go on. There's nothing I can do about it. It's all over. Elvis Adonisi has won the vacant WBU Continental title, thanks to that stoppage at the end of round 11. The South Africans absolutely delighted. What a performance by Adonisi.